Huh? Making a baby's dinner. Does he not want dinner? You do? Are you sure? You might want to cook it. Oh, you might want to put it in the living room for a punch. Yeah! Punch a baby. You what? You have a broken damage. See, I understand fully now. I got it. What kind of? Oh my God! So fun. Do you hear this, Patrick? Do you hear the bullshit he's laying out? Huh? He's claiming 0 damage to all my attacks. Excuse me? Oh my God. Everything except unplugging your electronics. That seems to be damaged. What? No. Are you sure about that? Oh my God. You're lucky you don't have metal fillings like I did. I'd make you bubble gum out of aluminum foil. So you don't understand that pain. Bad. Point at him. Oh, point at him. Look at that. Point at him. Right here. Right here. Point. Right here. Oh, fuck, you got the green butter. I do. I got the green butter. I'm going to eat my Patches, go get the green butter. Get the green butter, Patches. I got your little yellow butter, too. Get the green butter. Look at her. Here she comes. Here she is. Like, I'll take that green butter, motherfucker. She's here for the green butter. Yeah. She wants it. She wants whatever drops. You better watch out. I just threw that salmon pack down there. She's going to freak out. Yeah. Here, go get that, Patsy. Get the salmon pack. She is totally uninterested. They don't smell good enough, do they? Because they got the seal pack here. They don't smell like nothing, do they? Boy, the dog spilled coffee grounds all over the place. Yeah, bark. My fault. I see. Oh, I see. Mm-hmm. You know, since you turned 16, you hit working age. Where were you getting that job? Oh, the never kid. I can tell. You don't seem very motivated. Dad, can I have $1 for my pokey cards? Oh, yeah. What? Don't start with me. I'm going to start my own pokey card collection and collect them all. Do what? Don't start with me. I'm going to collect them all. All. Collecting them all now. Went from the dungeon to my kitchen real quick, didn't we? How y'all done? Eric Briggs brought out the field rotation while y'all was gone. I was like, put your field rotation in your pocket. He's like, it's not the camera setting. Like, I know. Regardless of what field rotation is, it's not normal for the fucking moon to rise, wax, roll 180 degrees and set lanes. I don't care what you're blaming it on, other than the tilt of the planet. We tilted. The moon started tipping. Conversation over, Mr. Briggs. It wasn't doing that up until 10 years ago. That's all there is to it. He can't provide a NASA link. I can provide NASA links that say he's a fucktard. I can actually provide a NASA link that says Eric Briggs is a fucktard. And I just did. Would you like to see it? Here you go. This is an official NASA link that says Eric Briggs is a fucktard. There you go. See, and I took that to him and told him as much before I came back live again. Just because the guys over there talk about how normal it is for the moon to do cartwheels, and it's just not. And I can't let a liar be a liar without fucking throwing shit at him like a fact. Or a NASA link that he can't provide. I mean, come on. I offer $1,000 for a fucking NASA link openly into the world. Big brown, globular. Am I making it clear enough for not a frisbee? World. You just can't have a conversation on the internet anymore, can you? You gotta cover all the bases of fucktardity. Fucktardity just running wild out there. Look, y'all making me eat green butter. See that? I gotta do it. You might say, what's wrong with that boy? Well, nothing after I eat my green butter. Cause it's a good butter. Nah, that's enough for flavoring. Fucking do look, Alfredo noodles. I am making Alfredo noodles out of the bag with my fish. I ain't made these fucking things in a long time. I usually do the rice. We're gonna break it up. Have some Alfredo noodles with fish. Does that sound good, kid? You'll make me ask you twice. We'll fight. Oh, is there anything in the dryer? Well, do you want to cook or check the dryer? Thank you. Get him! Get him! Look at him for absolutely no reason. Please do. Something wrong with that dog. And that little baby. No. Oh God. There we go. Nothing in the dryer. Nothing in the dryer? Nothing in the washer. Oh. Well, being as how the dryer is empty, could you put the stuff that's in the washer in the dryer, please? Nope. Okay. Hop on in the pan, Chico. I'm hungry. I'm hungry, boy. Look at it. How much water was I supposed to put in there? 0. Oh my God, I put in too much. It's okay. It's okay. All over. Is it? All of it. Yeah. It's all over. Just might as well write it off. You gonna get your dog some fresh water this week? No? I just wondered. Chico was asking. I told him to fuck off. I said, nobody loves you, Chico. It looks quite fresh to me. Does it? It does. It looks like, let me look at it. Look. Quite fresh. Oh my God. Here. Quite fresh to me. I wasn't even being a dick. I was being a dick to them. I was just being a dick to them. It didn't look that fresh to me. I was just being a dick to them. Thank you for getting them new water. Nope. Patches loves you for it. She probably does. He got this little bit of water in the bowl. It looks like clean water to me. I said, oh. He looks at me like, Jesus Christ. Now the dog's got some fucking clean water. Get him, Patches. Look, I got some green butter on my spoon. Oh, shit. She done lost her mind a long time ago, boy. It's up. I think it has everything to do with you playing basketball with her head bouncing her around. I don't know. She's brain damaged. I love my green butters. Miss Patchy. Oh my God. You what? You want fried pickles? Oh, fuck. Really? You expect that? You must think I'm like fucking super dad or some shit. Alright. What? Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. I quit. Look, I'm catching the kitchen on fire. Look, we're smoking. We're smoking. Open the window. Attack from behind. The screen got you. I did. I attacked my viewers with the screen from behind. It was a behind maneuver. It was sneaky. Yeah, I know. I'm terrible. Terrible at it. Don't try this at home. So welcome back. Yeah, I lost all my internet abilities. So I'm in the kitchen. I can barely read any damn thing now at this point. Are you what? Excuse me. What? You're gonna blame the daddy for what? Did it go out again? What are you gonna do with Chico? Bluff. Ew, poor Chico. Oh, my pickle jar. Shit. It won't open. It's all moist. You had it in the refrigerator. Yeah, it's moist. I had to dry it off. Get him, Patches. Tell him no more pickle jars. Oh, shit. Get him, Patches. Get him. I think my water's not enough. I have my noodles. Although my noodles are going to be done like way before my pickles. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn this way the fuck off. God, see? You're scheduling me all messy. Coating them with moo juice. To aggressively what?
Aggressively pointing.
Oh, dear God, you're going to get yourself harmed.
Aggressive pointing. Right here. He pointed at tickle spot right there. He hit that. Get his tickle spot. Get him. Aggressively pointing. Oh my God. Get him, Patches.
You gotta get your. How's your damage meter looking?
I have taken no damage.
Boy says his damage meter.
Aggressive pointing.
Oh, you're fixing to find out what aggressive something.
Aggressive pointing.
God.
Aggressive pointing shit.
Did she attack it?
She almost did.
Promptly.
Almost. Aggressive pointing.
I'm going to hit you with a flour sack.
That has barely any flour in it.
But it has plenty of dust in there.
Dust. That is kind of what flour is, though.
How you want to look? Dusty.
Hug the Patches.
Give her love.
Give her love.
Give her. I would take all that. Oh, get him. Get him. Oh. Oh. Oh.
Poor Patches.
She's excited now. It's on, motherfucker. See, y'all ain't so happy you came back, are you get the upstairs treatment now. Yeah, buddy. It's different when there's a whole floor between you and her. Yeah, she's crazy, all right. You too, Chico.
He doesn't know what you're talking about.
I know, he's just wagging his little fucking stuff. He isn't even sure if he's gonna make it till next week. Look at him. Have lunch. I'd like to be Stu. Could I be Stu? He's just little. Oh, you guys can't see Chico. He's too happy to be here. So we're making fried pickles, fish, and just might as well let you watch what I'm doing. And I think we got most of the milk. Pickles, yes, of a fried fucking variety. The little kid likes his pickles fried. And he was all like, Dad, can we have it? I was like, ah. So here we are. Look out, you little guy. You might end up in the wrong pen, Chico. Here's a fork. We got what, one fork in the house? God, no, there's a couple over here. There's one fork in this batch of silver stuff. No, that's all here. Silver stuff. Yeah, no, it's silver. Chico, you don't like pickles. See, we've been over this before. Yeah, he doesn't. Not even. He doesn't like them even a little bit. He turns his little nose up at it. He's like, fuck your pickle. Give me some meat. Yeah, he really doesn't. He does not like pickles. He's never even looked at the pickle twice. He sniffs them every time they hit the ground. He won't touch them. He's scared of shit. You must not know Chico. He's scared of patches. Maybe. Depends on what day. Terrified of. Miss Patches, you're just vicious. So this shit's almost as good as fried zucchini, but it's fried pickles. I think that's the last of them. Little crumb right there. Once they're in the oil, they'll start doing this bubbly thing. Let them do that for a while. Until they're brown. It almost looks like boiling, but it's not. That's what grease does to pickles that are fried. It's not quite a giraffe. We'll drain some of that shit off of them pickles when they get out of there. Nice and crispy tasting. So is this y'all's first fried pickle outing? I had my first fried pickles in Houston. How you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. And like, I think it was Catfish's fucking Corner restaurant in Houston. I don't know if they're still there or not. That was a few years ago. And what was funny, it was right next door to my buddy's glass shop over there at Bondigian. I can barely read this shit. The sun's right in my fucking eyes right here. Give up the recipe. Or what? Just a little bit of cornmeal and flour in my and fry it. Yes, I'm making fried pickles. They're good. They're good with a little bit of ranch dip. I thought it was the oddest thing I'd ever heard in my life. I was like, what? And then we ordered some and they were fucking delicious. I was like, well, you know. Yummy. What so now Seamus is always all about, hey dude, yeah, dill slices. I suppose you could fry up any kind, but I've only done it with dill. I sent that link earlier to Eric Briggs. I don't know if he responded. I don't really care. I'm gonna look at this. Oh, that is the link I sent. That's for Liberation 220. Oh shit, he did probably look. Okay. Nope. Fucking crazy. Damn. 1, 2, 3 across the top of South America. That's just ding, ding, ding. Ding, ding, ding. Are we dinging? Let's see. A little. Pretty active over here enough as it is. Fuck. Not quite a bell ringer though. Damn, what the fuck is that? Idaho. Yeah, everything's responding a little bit. There ain't no bell ringer as of yet. We've been diversely shaking. Tiny bubbles. Lots of those today, but fucking tiny bubbles everywhere. You can tell they're about ready to turn when the side that you're looking at starts to just show a little bit of brown around the edge. Before that, you're going to lose your fucking dough. So don't rush them. Tiny bubbles in my pan will make these fucking pickles taste delish. Golden brown is the tone you're looking for. Shit. You don't like pickles either, Miss Patches. She's upset. I want some pickles. She wants your pickles and your fish. I can tell. Mmm. I think we're probably both fucked, Patches. I'm going to eat the pickles. Mmm. Those are too delicious for children playing video games. Mmm. Oh my God. Oh. Mmm. He just gonna lay there and let me eat all the pickles. And Patches looking at me like, fuck off. So I take it you don't want any of this pig slop?
I want all of it.
What? It's just pig slop. It's stupid food. What are you gonna do with it? Eat it. Damn boy. Are you hungry? I don't even know if your fish is done yet. It appears to be pretty done. Here's Chico. He's like, yeah, I heard that. Let's take a little peek. What you want? I can't help it. I can't help it. Seamus says he likes fish. He said he can't share his with you, Patty. He said you eat it, Chico. He said he can't do it. You can't do it. You guys was thinking of the wrong Seamus when you thought he was going to share his fish with you. Oh, you want this, do you? Hang on. I gotta make sure this is, yeah, that's the regular butter. I want to give Seamus butter. He'd be pissed. Hang on, Patches. God. Look, this shit's hot as fuck, Patches. It's hot as fuck. Here, look, Chico won't even want it. Oop. Oop. You better get it. You better get it. You better get it. But I'm gonna pour some of them on the food. Get it, Chico. Don't fuck around. Oh, man. She stole your shit already. Poor Chico. She'll be after this here in a minute, Chico. Better hurry, boy. Don't burn yourself. Too late. Look out, animal dog. Noodles are not quite done. Green butterfish is better. I'll tell you that right now. Here, Chico, you want this skin, buddy. That'll help you out. A lot of ways. Eat that skin, buddy. Look out, Miss Patsy. Hey, guys, fish droppings. Hang on a second, Shorty. Getting rushed over here by Chihuahua. But hey, man. Shit, Chico, take your time on that. Excuse me, Miss Patches. I'll eat Chico. Oh, I lied. Miss Patches goes took that shit over again. Poor guy. You just don't get much of anything, do you, buddy? It's alright. You live, Chico. Good crumbs.
Jeez, no.
That's what I said. Chico, you're prancing around in the wrong spot, buddy. Dinner's almost done, kid. You want kicked in the shin?
No.
Is that what that was all about?
No.
No? How about the chin? You
No.
want kicked in the ball chin?
No.
No? You sure you don't want kicked in the shin?
Chico on it.
Making all that noise over there like you're going to do something?
What you doing, Ted? Oh, she's getting.
Yeah, bitches! Don't let him give you all that love.
Immediately.
Something wrong with that animal.
No, she's an animal.
Okay.
Animal.
Animal. She's a little Annie cow. Her spots. The rain plugged in. It's going to require more milk.
I know.
Fucking raping the cow. Patches' fault. She won't give us that much milk. I thought she was a cow. Look at all them spots on her. Look at that guy. Tell me. I've lost traction. It's gonna fart. Oh, there it goes. Bad. Bad bitch.
Also, none of that is for you.
Not even a little bit.
Oh, is she upset? Oh, is she upset? We can't do anything about that. None for you. Oh, none for you, Pat. None of it.
Look out, interference. Here you go,
That's all you get, Patches.
That's all. Oh, shit. Get out of here.
There's also Patches.
Get the hell out of here. Crazy dog.
Patches, but you gave me a fucking steaming hot pot.
I did.
Patches. Hey!
Get out of here. Go get your pot.
Get your pot.
You're fucking hot. Fuck both of you.
He's looking at it. She looked at it like, you fucking need me to eat that?
Not really. I expect you to look at it mad.
No, we won't give you her.
What is this for?
Me.
You can't fill it with your own milk?
Nope.
I didn't say shake, I said own milk.
No.
Yeah, like you're going to get any of this?
Yeah.
That's too delicious for children.
Yoink.
I don't care how much food or fuzz you got on your face.
Chico, get him.
You're just children.
Get him, Chico. Being bad. He's being bad again. Get him.
Did you see that shit, Chico? He ran off with my shake.
My shit.
Your shit. I'm going to give you a shake.
0, 0, 0. You did 0. You did 0.
I got you.
It did the 0.
All right, let me give you a little advice. I'd run with my food if I was you. Because that dog right there ain't going to let it.
You're leaving your viewers.
I know. Bye.
Thank you.
Sure, catfish just over. Catfish pick out, bud. Bye. That was a fucking good fish. Nah, you thought I left you. Are you supposed to be sitting on that bed with your food and drink? Get off it. The hell, dude? Are you new? You're new. Get off it. No. Oh, over. Off. Thank you, lazy boy. God. I only mean it. You sit over there. God. Kid trying to lay down on his bed with his milk and his fucking plate of food. How many times does one child have to fucking spill something on a $200 goddamn mattress before he's like, oh. Feelings. How's everybody? Motherfuckers, I made fish. And fried pickles. Holy shit. Fried pickles are the shit. And I make some damn good fish too. That shit just fall apart in your mouth. Don't need any teeth. Green recipes. Well, anything you would feel like putting butter in. So you feel free to substitute it 1-to-1 with green butter, unless you're making Alfredo, like real Alfredo, good Alfredo, not this cheesy Alfredo. Although you could, I'd double down on the butter. So fucking delicious. Mm. I should put some green butter in this Alfredo. Come to think of it. Aztecs.
On the night of the 21st of February, 1978,
That's a little loud.
on a residential street in Mexico City, a group of workmen were digging through the hard asphalt of the road. They worked for the Mexico City Electric Company, and their job was to run cables across the street and through the whole neighborhood. At first, it seemed like just another day at work. But then, just over 2 meters into the earth, their diggers struck something. It was an enormous piece of stone. And as they excavated further around it, they saw that this stone was carved in ornate and intricate patterns. They quickly notified the archaeologists at Mexico's National Institute of History and Anthropology.
I will have another green
and all
butter making
construction
day
work in the
soon.
area was stopped. Flocks of archaeologists descended, and excavations began to discover what this remarkable
Hopefully
stone was.
stick.
The more they uncovered, the clearer the picture became. This was a carved stone disc, measuring over 3 meters in diameter. On its surface was the image of a woman, a goddess, naked and decapitated, surrounded by snakes and skulls, and wearing
And
a
green
crown
milk
of
is fucking
feathers.
delicious with milkshakes.
This was a depiction
Alas,
of a
I have
god
none.
named Coyolxauhqui, who was worshipped by the ancient indigenous people of Mexico, who today we call the Aztecs. The discovery of this stone sparked an outburst of interest in what else might lie beneath the surface of Mexico City.
Yeah. Listen to some Aztecs. I
issued
like
a decree ordering the entire city block to be demolished and excavated. In all, 13 buildings in the neighborhood were torn down, and the more they uncovered,
this
the
guy
more
here
excited
is very
the archaeologists
stringent
became.
archaeology. He
They found that
won't
the
do you
stone
miss
disc
very much.
had been placed at the base of an enormous set of stairs,
That's why he's
which led up to a
confused
platform
a lot.
on which the ruins of a great pyramid once sat. This was the main temple of a city that had once stood beneath the streets of Mexico City and had been completely erased by time. This city was called Tenochtitlan.
Well,
And
Renee,
it was once the heart
add
of a
green
powerful
butter to
empire.
them. They'll be better. Green
The
butter is better.
excavations in Mexico City would go on for another 4 years. And every day its people would come and watch as the ruins of a buried civilization rose out of the familiar streets. As they watched, many of them must have wondered, who were these people who once lived on the land beneath our feet?
As far as the fish goes, I just scaled a little bit. The fish just I've got more for flavor than anything on the fish. It's definitely not going to attack me like if I'd have put a bunch of butter in here. More for flavor. Just because I love the flavor. I love the freaking flavor of it.
How had they built such phenomenal constructions of such
I'm not
incredible
even sure if that's
craftsmanship?
southern or northern.
And how could such a large and advanced society simply disappear beneath the earth?
I've seen them in a couple places now. Now that I'm looking when I'm going.
My name's Paul Cooper, and you're listening to the Fall of Civilizations podcast.
Right on, Paul.
Each episode, I look at a civilization of the past that rose to glory and then collapsed into the ashes of history.
I like this guy's program.
I want to ask, what did they have in common?
I argue
What
with
led
him a
to
lot.
their fall? And what did it feel like to be a person alive at the time who witnessed the end of their world? In this episode, I want to look at one of history's most incredible stories.
I'm giving him raw, man.
That's the rise
More
and the
than
dramatic fall of the Aztec Empire. I want to explore how the Aztecs overcame the odds to create one of the America's largest indigenous empires. I want to explore how they reacted to one of the most astonishing and terrifying encounters that any society has ever experienced. And I want to tell the story of what happened to cause the dramatic and final end of their age. Up until around 66 million years ago,
mustard's pretty
the
good on
planet Earth
pierogies.
was a very different place to the world we know today. In those days, its surface was home to enormous reptiles, known today as dinosaurs. If we could walk across the continent of North America in those days, we would see a landscape covered with ferns and swamps,
I fry the
dotted
fuck out of my
with enormous primeval pine forests. Small winged pterodactyls flitted in the air,
put sour cream on
and enormous dinosaurs like the horned triceratops traveled over the plains.
A little bit of cheese.
In the forest, fearsome packs of velociraptors hunted for their prey, and huge carnivores like the Tyrannosaurus lumbered among the trees. But it's in the sky that perhaps the most impressive of these creatures could be seen. Quetzalcoatlus was the largest flying animal ever known. It had wingspans of over 15 meters, larger than a modern
as we
fighter
know
plane.
it, be kind.
Because of their enormous size, they rarely landed and spent most of
We
their
are
lives
definitely
soaring in the warm upcurrents
deep in the
rising
script.
off the sea, making migratory journeys back and forth across the Atlantic Ocean, which was then only about half the distance across. And then one day, a new star appeared in the sky.
That's some
It
good
would have been
original
dim
steak.
at first, but as the days went by, it got brighter.
Pecan
Only a day or
praline
two would have passed
with a little
before
scoop
this
of
light would look like a
Hershey
second
Reese
sun.
cut.
Then a blinding flash would have lit the skies of the entire Western Hemisphere.
Fucking delicious right there.
In less than the time it takes to blink, an asteroid measuring 11 kilometers across, or about the size of Mount Everest, impacted the Earth's
I
surface
like horseradishes.
right on the coast of southern Mexico.
And tater pancakes.
The energy
God.
released was around 100 million megatons, or the equivalent of the entire world's nuclear arsenal, being detonated all at once, about 15,000 times over.
I like a
The
good
Earth's
chicken noodle
surface
soup,
around the
too.
impact would have rippled like water under a magnitude 10 earthquake, the asteroid itself was instantly vaporized and sublimed into a core of superheated plasma over 10,000 degrees centigrade, or twice the surface temperature of the sun. Scorching winds of more than 1,000 kilometers an hour blasted out over the continent, and tsunamis of up to 200 meters high thundered into the coasts and washed over the land for distances of 100 kilometers.
That sounds rough.
Wildfires burst into light around the world as burning debris began to rain down on the earth, and plumes of vaporized rock dust cloaked the planet in a dark shroud that blocked out the sun for years. In parts of the earth, pellets of glass began to rain from the sky. Much of the life on planet Earth would not survive this event. All large dinosaurs quickly fell into extinction. The tyrannosaurs and the triceratops, as well as that enormous flying creature, Quetzalcoatlus. Over half of the plant species in North America were wiped out, and for years afterwards, only mushrooms and other fungi could grow, feeding on the decaying matter of the world's forests. Only small land animals, like snakes, lizards, and snails, survived, many of them by burrowing into the ground. Crawling among the dust and ash of the world's ruins were also the small rat-sized mammals, from which every person you know today is ultimately descended. Today, the enormous circle of the impact crater can still be detected around the town
He wasn't having it.
The crater is 150 kilometers wide and gouged a hole several kilometers deep into the Earth's crust.
Delicious.
Over the next 66 million years or so, the Earth would undergo some dramatic changes. The continents of the Americas had already been drifting away from the landmass of Europe and Africa for over 100 million years, as the Earth's plates ground and cracked around each other.
That's an awful long time to be.
If you went far enough back, it would have been possible to walk from Nigeria to Brazil,
So
from
I watched
Morocco
a movie
to New
called
York,
100 Million
or from
Years
Spain to Canada.
BC.
But now the
Cheesy
world
as
was
fuck.
split into two great land masses.
Mhm.
One known as Afro-Eurasia, containing Africa, Europe, and Asia, and the other known as the Americas. Driven by the powerful currents of molten rock that circulate in the planet's mantle, the Earth's crust tears apart in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Meanwhile, the North and South American continents move westwards, all at about the rate
I
your
was looking at the
fingernails grow.
sun upstairs and I'm still seeing
Since the time of the
it.
Chicxulub asteroid, the width of the
I can't
Atlantic
hardly
Ocean
read shit.
has grown by about 1,300 kilometers. The west coast of the Americas, from Alaska to California, down the coast of Mexico, through Colombia, Peru, and Chile, are the cutting edge of their continental plates. As they forge west, they force the Pacific Ocean floor down beneath them, crumpling as they go and forcing up huge ranges like the Rocky Mountains in North America and the Andes in the south. The titanic forces involved in this process mean the whole length of the continental coast is a hotspot for earthquakes and for volcanoes.
Volcanoes.
The landscape of what is
Don't
today
talk about
Mexico is dominated by these volcanoes. In the south of the country, a range known as the Trans-Mexican Volcanic Belt has burst up over the last 20 million years, forming a dramatic range of snow-capped peaks. Between these mountains, a highland plateau has formed, where solidified lava flows have washed over one another. Today, this is known as the Valley of Mexico. The Valley of Mexico is a dramatic landscape.
It's really smoky.
It sits at an altitude of over 2,000 meters, while the active volcanoes that form its walls can soar up to
I guess I kind of
6,000
am having
meters.
pickles and ice cream, aren't I, DJ?
The land here is fertile and water is plentiful.
Maybe I'm pregnant. Wait a
Rain
minute,
and meltwater
hang on a second.
snows
I ain't
flow
signed up
down
for
the
that
sides
shit.
of the valleys and into rivers, gathering in the floor of the basin in an enormous lake, known as Lake Texcoco. Lake Texcoco was huge. It was about 40 kilometers in width and about 80 kilometers in length,
delicious milkshake.
bordered by a marshland of reeds and rushes. In winter, migratory birds from as far as Canada also came here to enjoy the warmer weather. In the 66 million years since the Chicxulub asteroid, the small rat-like creatures that survived had also undergone a few changes. By this time, they had transformed, generation by generation, as gradually and unstoppably as the continents. They had now diverged into the huge variety of mammals that we know today. Horses evolved in North America about 3.5 million years ago, and in times of low sea levels, they crossed over into eastern Russia, spreading from there across Asia
I think you needed
and
some
the rest
minerals,
of the
Lala.
Afro-Eurasian landmass. Other animals cross in the other direction. Giant Columbian mammoths, creatures weighing over 10 tons, walked from Asia into the Americas and spread down as far as southern Mexico. The last time these sea levels dropped was during the last ice age that began around...
What kind of plants are they? They never bloom, but now they're blooming. I said you must have needed some minerals. Cool. You have a good night, D. No, but it was Briar's. Wasn't Ben and Jerry's. Pecan pralines mixed with peanut butter cup. Oh shit. No. No big cheese, it doesn't. Yeah, she said she wanted to eat dirt when she was pregnant, and I said she must have needed her minerals. Maybe she did. Maybe she did need a bag of dicks. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. That would have to come from an official MD. Damn. That was some good stuff. Gotta tell you.
around 33,000 years ago.
33,000 years ago.
A land bridge emerged between the continents of Asia and the Americas.
Wasn't we just 100 million years ago, a minute ago?
Where the hell did he come from? Had gone before, crossing from Asia into the Americas. They traveled south from there, setting up Stone Age cultures wherever they went, and they arrived in the Valley of Mexico probably around 12,000 years ago. Around this time, the horse went extinct in America due to a combination of changing climate, collapsing ecosystems, and possibly human hunting for food. And then, around 10,000 years ago, the last ice age came to an end. Sea levels rose, and the land bridge between Asia and the Americas sank back beneath the waves forever. Horses would never return by natural means to the Americas. The human populations of the two sides of the world were now separated. One day in the future, they would meet again, and this is the story of how that happened.
They're gonna make a bunch of honeycomb pipes.
The earliest humans in the valley
More honeycomb.
were hunter-gatherers. They found vast herds of mammoths roaming the pine forest bordering Lake Texcoco, and over the next millennia hunted them to extinction. Today, the earth of the valley is still littered with their bones. Agriculture began around the lake about 7,000 years ago, with humans following the natural patterns of the lake's flood cycle. Various cultures made their home here over the millennia, coalescing into larger and larger settlements. And by the year 1200 BC, a number of large villages began to rise around the valley. To the north, the land was tough and arid, and if you traveled far enough, you'd reach the baking desert of Chihuahua in northern Mexico. Life in the desert was hard, and so over history, countless migrating tribes and nomadic groups traveled south into the valley of Mexico, where water was plentiful and food easier to find. So while young cities began to rise up on the shores of Lake Texcoco, wave after wave of newcoming people also arrived. The population of the valley swelled, cultures intermingled, and more complicated forms of society began to take shape. In the early centuries of the first millennium, the valley began to be home to some of the first cities. And of these, one would soon rise to unprecedented size and power. This city was called Teotihuacan. We've encountered Teotihuacan before in our third episode on the Mayans. Its people built towering pyramids and stately processional avenues in their capital, monopolizing a kind of green obsidian that could be found nowhere else. Its influence spread far and wide, reaching down into Central America and interfering in the politics of Mayan kingdoms. This city had an enormous influence on the region, but we know virtually nothing about its people, who they were, what language they spoke, or even what happened to them. Archaeology shows that around the year 550 AD, the entire city, all its temples and palaces, were burned. The city went into a sharp decline, and its towering pyramids fell into ruin.
Imagine that.
But its cultural influence would live on.
They was trying to kill Martin.
Teotihuacan played a similar role in Mexico as the ancient Greeks did for Europeans. They inspired new cultures and left a mark on their religion, society, and art. But if Teotihuacan's people were the Greeks, then the Romans of this region were the Toltecs. After the collapse of Teotihuacan and the fall of the Mayan cities in the south, the Toltec Empire was the dominant force in Central America, ruling from the city of Tula. Just as Rome openly admired the culture of the Greeks, the Toltecs modeled themselves on the great fallen empire of Teotihuacan. They spoke a language called Nahuatl, which would quickly become the predominant language of the region. And it's clear they were outstanding craftsmen and artisans. Their artistic abilities were so famed that in Nahuatl, the word Toltec would come to be used simply to mean artist. But before long, for reasons that we don't entirely understand, the city of Tula was also abandoned, and the Toltec Empire followed Teotihuacan into ruin. And this is where our story really begins. I think it's worth taking a moment here to talk about the sources that we have about life
I'll
in the
tell you
time
what,
of the Aztecs.
it sure as hell took him a long time to
The
get
word
to where we
Aztec
begin.
is not a word those people would have used about themselves. It's a later invention.
That was a prelude and
They
a
would have
half
called
right
themselves Mexica.
there.
And we actually have a wide variety of sources to draw from, many of them written by Mexica people who actually witnessed life before contact with Europeans. But one problem for historians is that these eyewitness accounts were all written after contact, and most several decades after the events. One of the main sources for these years was the work of the Spanish churchman Bernardo de Sahagún, who some have called the first anthropologist. He arrived in Mexico in the year 1529 and spent the next 50 years learning the language of Nahuatl, as well as studying the culture and history of its indigenous Mexica people. In the 1550s, 30 years after contact, he gathered together as many older Mexica people as he could find, who still remembered the age of the Aztecs. He wrote down their memories and collected them in an extraordinary book called A General History of the Things of New Spain, or the Historia General. The most famous section of the Historia General is known as the Florentine Codex. It's a manuscript consisting of 2,400 pages, organized into 12 books, and containing over 2,500 illustrations drawn by native artists. Bernardo de Sahagún recorded the text in both Spanish and Nahuatl. On this episode, we're joined by Jan Garcia, a native speaker of Huasteca Nahuatl from Mexico, who will help us to hear the sounds of the Florentine Codex in its original Nahuatl. The Florentine Codex is an incredible account of the culture, religion, society, and history of the Aztec people. But it's important to remember that it was created under the supervision of a European priest who had his own set of agendas. The people he interviewed were remembering events and details from a distance of many years, and it's impossible to know how much they were telling Sahagún what they thought he wanted to hear. This all complicates it as a reliable source. Another key character in recording the Mexica experience was a Dominican monk called Fray Diego Duran. Duran was rare among the Europeans, most of whom never learned the indigenous languages of Mexico. He was raised from an early age by servants who spoke Nahuatl and grew up a fluent speaker. He wrote a book called The History of the Indies of New Spain, but he died without it ever being published, since he faced fierce criticism during his life for what other Spaniards saw as his excessive sympathy for the indigenous Mexicans. Towards the end of the 16th century, a handful of indigenous men also wrote down their histories. Don Fernando de Alva Ixtlilxochitl is one example. He was descended from the last king of the Aztec city of Texcoco, and although far removed from the events described, he had access to some Aztec books that had been kept a secret from the Europeans. And so these are the sources we have to rely on, each one of them potentially flawed and fragmentary. As a result, trying to find out the truth of this period can seem like navigating a hall of mirrors, reflections of reflections, leading us around in circles. But combining these accounts with archaeological evidence does allow us to piece together some of the major events of the Aztecs' rise to power. Our story begins around the year 1300 AD. And by this time, the Valley of Mexico looked like a very different place. The vast ruins of Teotihuacan and Toltec civilization could be seen all around, crumbling into the earth. The dozens of small villages around the lake had by this time grown into powerful city-states in their own right. Each one had a set of tall pyramid-shaped temples at their hearts. A thick traffic of canoes, some of them holding up to 30 people, crisscrossed the lake, bringing trade and goods to the markets in each of these cities. And the political situation had changed too. In the vacuum left by the Toltecs, a people known as the Tepanecs had grown to exert power over the other cities of the valley. They ruled from the city of Azcapotzalco, which rose on the western bank of the lake. This early form of empire had grown to an impressive size. At this point, at least 40 other cities paid tribute to them and sent soldiers to fight in their armies. It was at this time, around 1300 AD, that a new band of migrants arrived in the valley. These were what the people here called Chichimecas, a word that in Nahuatl means barbarian or savage, and it was usually applied to the groups of wandering nomads who often arrived in the valley from the northern desert. This group claimed to have come from a land which they had been forced to flee, but which no one else had ever heard of. They called this mysterious place Aztlan. They said they had been wandering in the desert for many years, searching for a new place to call home. They called themselves the Mexica, but today we call them by a name derived from their mythical homeland, Aztlan. These were the people who would one day be called the Aztecs. We can imagine how these weary desert travelers must have felt when they crested the hills and saw the wide green valley of Mexico stretch out before them. They would have seen the cities scattered out around the lake, glittering like jewels, and they must have thought that surely, somewhere in this bountiful place, they could find a place to call home. But they were soon to be disappointed. The steady flow of people migrating south into the valley had increased the population density. Virtually all of the land in the valley had already been claimed by one city or another, and wherever they went, the city dwellers sent them away. Part of the reason for this is that the Mexica seemed to have been a rough bunch. They didn't wear the embroidered clothes of the city dwellers, or had any of their sophisticated manners, and their years of fighting to survive in the wilderness had made them tough. They worshipped a fierce god, a warlike deity known as Huitzilopochtli, whose name meant hummingbird of the south. While none of the valley's city dwellers would let the Mexica settle down in their land, they did see one obvious use for them. Several cities offered to give the Mexica food in exchange for their services as mercenaries. And so this nomadic people wandered about the valley, agreeing to fight for whoever would pay the most, and dying in other people's wars. But they must have still yearned for a real place that they could call home. After 25 years or so of fighting for other people, the Mexica must have realized that no one was going to give them a home. They would have to build one for themselves. But there was only one last piece of uninhabited land left in the whole valley. It was a place so inhospitable that none of the other peoples had even bothered to claim it. It was nothing but a marshy strip of land, lying some way out in the water off the western shore of Lake Texcoco. The Mexica built canoes, and paddled out to this lonely stretch of land. There they managed to build a number of small huts and a simple altar made of reeds to their god Huitzilopochtli. It was an incredibly humble start, but it was theirs. And although they were not to know it then, this swampy village would grow in the space of only 200 years to become one of the world's greatest cities. The Mexica named this settlement after one of their legendary kings, who had led them wandering through the desert, a man who had been named Tenoch. And so this place would be called Tenochtitlan. The city of Tenochtitlan expanded gradually at first. From those original few huts, the Mexica soon used up all the space on their island. But with their population growing, they would need to come up with a solution. They began to build artificial islands out in the lake. They would paddle out into the water on canoes and drive tall stakes into the shallow lake bed, then pile earth in around them until the ground rose out of the water. Over the years, these new islands spread out from the center in a chaotic pattern, connected by bridges and canals. The island city of Tenochtitlan began to grow. If you return to see Tenochtitlan a century later, in the early decades of the 1400s, the city would have been unrecognizable. It would have looked something like Venice. The city was now joined to the mainland by 3 great causeways, branching out to the north, south, and west. These were broken in the middle by wooden drawbridges, which were raised at night for security. To the east, the great expanse of the lake stretched out, although on a clear day, it was possible to just about see the other shore and the city of Texcoco that rose there. Tenochtitlan was surrounded by island gardens called chinampas. The Mexica built these by weaving together sticks and reeds to make underwater fences, which were then filled in with fertile earth. They used these island gardens to grow all kinds of crops, from maize, beans, and squashes to tomatoes, chili peppers, and all kinds of decorative flowers. The farmers paddled between these gardens in their canoes, carrying sprouted plants and tools, and bringing back the crops in baskets. Since a number of mountain springs fed into Lake Texcoco, its water had an unusually high salt content, and so the production of salt was another key industry of the area. One 16th century Spanish observer named Pedro Martir described seeing the Mexica engaged in this practice.
They take the lake water, which is salty, and lead it through ditches into depressions where they thicken it. Once thickened, they boil it and then form it into balls and rolls, which they take to markets or fairs to exchange for other things. Only the subjects of the Aztec king have access to this salt, and never those who disobey his commands.
As well as farming, the Mexica would have fished and hunted. Migratory birds like geese were particularly abundant in the winter months, as the Spanish visitor Ortiz de Montellano recalled.
There are great multitudes of birds on the Mexican lagoon. There are so many that in many parts it looked like a solid lake made of birds. It happens in winter, and the Indians harvest many of them.
The Mexica also supplemented their diet with other sources of protein. Among these were several species of insects, including one they called the isafuktard, a kind of Mars fly. Another Spanish writer, Hernando Fernandez, writing in the 16th century, describes how the Aztecs prepared this food.
The isafuktard is a small fly, which in certain seasons is collected with nets from the lake in such great quantities that great numbers of them are cut up and mixed together to form little balls, which are sold in the markets throughout the year. The Indians cook them in salty water, wrapped up in maize husks, and prepared in this way they comprise a good food, abundant and agreeable.
Other sources of food include fish eggs, eaten as a kind of caviar, and even the eggs of the Ashayaka fly itself, which were laid in enormous numbers on the mudflats and reed beds of the lake.
That's rough.
In Nahuatl, these eggs are known as awautli,
Fucking fly
which
pie.
loosely translates to wheat of the water. The Mexica ground these eggs into a paste, baked them into cakes, and flattened them out in tortillas. Both the Ashayakatl fly and its eggs were made up of 60% pure protein, making them an exceptional dietary source. As a snack, the Mexica also liked one species of aquatic worms they called oquilishtak, which they toasted with salt. With this abundance of available food and ingenious farming techniques, a population boom took place in Tenochtitlan. It grew in the space of only a century until it housed at least 200,000 people.
I'm not moving to Tenochtitlan.
Larger than either London or Paris at the time. In fact, it was likely larger than any city in Europe. It soon covered a rough square of around 3 kilometers on each side, and this rapid growth had a transformative effect on the Mexica people.
I had no fly pie.
The rough bunch of Mexica warriors who had first arrived in the valley would have now been unrecognizable. They were a sophisticated and settled people. They successfully absorbed the old cultural traditions of the Toltecs and Teotihuacan, adopting their culture of pyramid building and stone carving. They welcomed craftsmen and learned people from all the other cities of the valley, absorbing their customs and developing astonishing skills of engineering. In 1418, the Mexica began the construction of a vast series of stone aqueducts, stretching for 4 kilometers across the lake over a series of artificial islands. These brought clean, fresh water right into the heart.
I don't know about y'all. That was no fly pie. Damn, they caught them in nets. They said. God, my fucking back is kicking my ass. I wish my fucking can tighten up. Same old with this little box. Always trouble. Fucking special heating box. Always give me trouble. Shit don't want to heat up. Thinking about installing a manual fucking rheostat on it. Hold on a tick. Clear. I do believe. Yep. Wonder if that works. I have a manual on it. I just haven't looked at it in so long I forgot it was there. Ah, it's hot. I'm a manual controller on my fucking kiln. So I've had my digital for fucking decades. I forgot I had a manual. I ain't gonna cool it down. I'm gonna keep going. Oh, that fucking hurt. Oh. Oh. So that's why I was laying down today. My back is fucking killing me. Might be nap time again soon. Oh, I'm hoping my kiln stops fucking me around. What the hell, man? I ain't asking for much. I need to turn that thing around. I forgot I had a manual controller on this damn thing. Go with my rheostat, I can just tone it in to where it'll hold a temperature pretty good. I remember I've used this thing before. I don't remember if it still works though. It's on the foot of my kiln on the other side. I didn't even think about it. Fucktard extraordinaire. Keep telling y'all, I'm not the genius you think I am. I just now realized after fucking what, a whole week of fighting with this thing, I've probably got the solution sitting on the other side of my kiln. I'm just lazy. Wanted it digital. My sciatica is kicking my ass too. So it's got me in a good mood. Be careful. Oh, I ain't gonna do it. It's too hot. It's too hot. It's about 450 right now. And I can't balance it that hot and turn the bottom at the same time. I'll just have to wait till it cools down to do that. I'm waiting on it to heat back up, but it hasn't even kicked in yet. It's like at 3:30 right now. It keeps falling. I'm gonna get myself a multimeter. God dang it. I had one. I don't think it's here anywhere. So I guess it's a 380. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. I'll bet you that thing works good too. It may not. I don't know. I've used this kiln an awful lot. I don't know if my manual still works. I think it probably does. It's just on the wrong side of my kiln right now. Because the leads are over there. My fucking control, or my controller's over there. My leads are over here. Dumb fucking dumb. All right. I'm just going to let it cool down and rebuild this motherfucker tonight. That's all I got. I'm going to just have to rebuild it. I can't believe I didn't think of that earlier. And again, like I said, I'm not even sure if it works anymore. Even if it did work, it's been decades since I hooked it up. Call it what? Oh, no. No chiropractor. I'll live. Thank you. No, I had a sports medicine doctor in San Diego that fucking worked some wonders. He could just point at my back and make it feel better for 6 months. But I've had other doctors hurt me. Chiropractors. You can't just stretch me like that and crinkle me up. They like crinkling people up, but the chiropractor can't crinkle me up like that. I'll punch you. It doesn't work that way. I don't know what the fuck he did. He'd take his hands underneath me. I'd be laying flat on my back. He'd take his hands underneath my shoulder blades and just kind of vibrate me up a little bit, and it would just pull out all the kinks in my fucking back. I don't know how he did it. I walked out of that office feeling good all the time. He couldn't do anything with my shoulder. That sucked. My shoulder, I healed later. I hope that manual works, man. I haven't used it. I want to go try it right now, but I just grabbed the damn thing. It's way too fucking hot. I already know it's too hot. Ah, ah. But, oh well. I can't believe I forgot I had that thing on there. I don't even know if it works. So. Sure, going to find out tomorrow. Damn it. I may just need a new controller and everything. I know I need a new thermocouple. That thing's whacked. I should have got that when I got my heat pulse. I don't know what the hell I was thinking there. Damn. See, this thing just getting worse and worse. That's what convinces me it's that stupid relay switch, not my computer making this happen. I wish I had a multimeter. I could tell real quick. Yes, troubleshooting sucks, King. You know it. You know it, man. Yeah, well, it's not really complicated. It's got a Fuji controller, uh, Fuji thermo controller on it. Goes up to 2200 or some shit. But I only set mine for about 12. And a relay switch, basically. I think it's my relay switch. I just got a relay switch. It was maybe 6 months ago. So that's what confuses me, I think. I think it's the relay switch. Pretty sure. But it's a brand new part. Cheap ass bastards. I had the first one for like 20 years, 25 years. And yeah, I just replaced this one. And I'm pretty sure it's the damn relay switch. It's acting fucking crazy. And it's getting worse and worse. I thought it was on a set pattern, but it's not. It's obviously not. It just got worse and worse. It's all right. I give it a couple hours. It'll cool down. My bricks hold the heat really good, though, so it'll take a couple hours to cool down. The motherfucking box is hot. Fucking box is hot. I am going to have to go turn off my oxygen, my gases. I will leave you guys to Mr. Fallen Empires again here real quick whilst I go
Part of the city.
Close off my shop.
The Mexica also built an enormous dam that helped protect the city from seasonal flooding. Tenochtitlan was divided into a number of key districts. In the north was Quepopan, or the place where the flowers bloom, and in the west, Moyotlan, the place of the gnats. To the east was Azcoalco, the place of the herons, and I'll post a number of incredibly beautiful maps of the city on Patreon, so you can picture its exact layout for yourself. The humble reed shrine that the Mexica first built had now been replaced by an enormous pyramid, standing at the head of a courtyard measuring half a kilometer squared. Each new king had expanded this pyramid, building around and on top of the existing structure, so that today you can still see the remains of its previous versions inside its ruins, looking something like a Russian doll. This is where the great stone disc with the image of the goddess Coyolxauhqui lay, waiting to be discovered by those Mexico City electrical workers 500 years in the future. That stone once formed the base of the steps leading up to this pyramid. The city of Tenochtitlan was a place of pleasure and luxury. It had a botanical garden and even a zoo where animals were kept, two innovations that Spanish visitors later found remarkable, since they had seen nothing of the kind back in Europe. Drinking alcohol was strictly forbidden in Mexica society. Punishments for being found drunk in public were severe and could even result in death, although it's clear that many people did it anyway. They drank something called pulque, a particular kind of milky alcohol brewed from the agave plant. If you walked the streets of Tenochtitlan in the 15th century, you might also see groups of people eating hallucinogenic mushrooms or drinking them in tea. These mushrooms were used widely by the Mexica for recreation, and especially among the poets and priests, for whom they took on a religious significance. One piece of oral poetry recorded in the Florentine Codex is just one example in which the effects of these narcotics were mentioned.
I have drunk fungus wine, and my heart weeps. On earth I have only pain. It matters nothing. We are all precious jewels of the god strung on a thread. We are all together jewels on his necklace.
One of the city's most remarkable sights could be found in the northern part. Here, in the district of Tlatelolco, a great market was held. This city in the lake had now become the great crossroads of all the trade in the region, with boats coming from all the lakeside cities to sell their produce. An enormous, colourful variety of food and other goods were brought from all over the valley and beyond.
Take a nap.
Cocoa and bright green quetzal feathers from the south, obsidian blades for everyday use, paper made from bark, as well as gold and silver from the north. One extract from the Florentine Codex contains a list of all the foods eaten at just one Aztec feast, and it gives you a sense of the variety that they enjoyed.
They ate white tortillas, grains of maize, turkey eggs, turkeys, and all the fruits, custard apple, mamey, yellow sapote, black sapote, sweet potato, manioc, white sweet potato, jicama, plum, jobo, guava, avocado, acacia, American cherry, and tuna.
Clothes and textiles were also sold in the great market of Tlatelolco, woven in all the different colourful patterns that the Aztecs made.
They gave them all the different kinds of precious cloaks they carried, like those mentioned here, the sun-covered style, the blue-knotted style, the style covered with jars, the one with painted eagles, the style with serpent faces, the style with wind jewels, the style with turkey blood, or with whirlpools, the style with smoking mirrors.
Oh my God.
The market was a social place, full of hustle and bustle. The Aztecs loved riddles, and while the canoe riders and market sellers mingled, they may have laughed and exchanged new ones they'd heard that week. Some examples of these Aztec riddles have survived, and we can listen to some of them now. I'll leave a small gap between the riddle and their answer in case you want to pause and try to figure it out for yourself.
What thing? 10 stones with something on their backs. They are the nails on our fingers. What thing? White stone from which green feathers are born. It is an onion. What thing? A warrior in a house made of pine branches. The eye with all its lashes.
Makes you want to punch someone.
But amid the booming life of this city, there was also a darker side, which would have been
I gotta pause it, because I'm going upstairs to take a nap. Patches is upset. She was eating my cookies. We got busted. Eating my green cookies. Bitch was eating my green cookies! I'm gonna let her live this time. She may be taking a nap time too soon. But she's upset. She got busted. She got slapped busted. Eating daddy's green cookies. And Seamus was giving her hugs. Oh, I see you knocked down my shield also.
What are you doing, Cash?
Oh, she's back in there looking for some green cookies.
Do you need hugs? Do you need more hugs?
Are you bad?
Do you need more hugs? Does she need more hugs?
No. Probably not. Not the barking kind of hug. Get out of here, you crazy dog. Go. No green cookies for you. Yeah. God. I make good cookies. Ask her. She'll tell you. She's about the only one that ever has any. Every time I fucking make any goddamn green cookies, this Miss Patch is to the rescue. Like, don't worry, I'll take care of those for you. God. I got none left for you. You ate them. They're gone. Crazy fucking dog. She wants more cookies. She's like, motherfucker, I know you have cookies. Oh, I threw a half a cookie in the trash. Oh, Jesus, yeah, every time I sit down, it's reinforcement of motherfucking nap time, folks. Huge cow-like structure right here. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah, there. Argentina, she's never bad. She just her likes chocolate chip cookies just like anybody else. And she's like, yeah, green cookies. She can't get enough. There ain't no more. Get out of here. Go on, go lay down. Go. Go. Bitch ate my cookies. And she don't give a fuck. Oh yeah, she is guilty. She don't care though. She's like, damn straight, I hate your cookies. I'm gonna come in here and sniff out the chocolate chips I dropped. She saw me throw half a cookie in the trash too. She's after that. I didn't let her get the last half of the cookie. I caught her fucking eating it. She didn't want to relinquish that shit. You crazy dog. Something wrong with her. So yeah, give me a couple hours. I'll go live again. We'll fucking fix that kiln. Get it working, maybe. Maybe. I ain't fucking promising nothing. I'm gonna turn around and try it manually though. We'll see what happens. So all right. Y'all have a good nap. I'm gonna get myself a nap. Seamus says he's gonna come in here and nap me up. I'm gonna beat up a little kid. All right. Have a good one, y'all.